Hi there. Welcome back. Biden's clean green energy scheme could send us back to the dark ages, but quick. The president and his eco warriors too busy saving the planet to see the warning signs. Watch.
This existential threat to all of us, and it is the ultimate threat to humanity, climate change.
It is working. It's working, folks.
The share of EVs has been dramatically increasing every single year, and that's continuing.
Electric buses are key to the future. The bus has Wi-Fi and even USB outlets next to every seat. I mean, come on, imagine. You can charge your phone on your way home from work. That's good stuff.
That's so good, tanking the economy because of a USB port. She has no idea what she's talking about. The reality is all of their climate policies are pushing our electric power grid to the limit, and it's only getting worse. The Wall Street Journal writing, quote, artificial intelligence data centers and climate rules are pushing the power grid to what could become a breaking point. One of the biggest energy-draining culprits, the electric vehicles the Biden administration is pushing on you. People are buying them, but that's not stopping the energy secretary from dismissing some of the bad sales news.
They may have gotten a little over their skis in terms of the rate at which the uptake, but the uptake is happening. When you're starting a new industry, you get some fits and starts. Some of it has to do with range anxiety. Some of it has to do with the price. When people realize that electric vehicles are so much cheaper to own and operate in terms of not having to buy gasoline.
Don't you love when politicians pull stunts where they have a convoy of electric vehicles that stalls in the middle of the road and they have to be rescued by gas-powered tow trucks? Isn't the administration a little ahead of itself in terms of EVs? The Energy Secretary, very enthusiastic, but...
Yeah, they're way ahead of everybody, and I don't think anybody's going to catch up because everyone bought their first tranche, and they're happy with it. Sales have flatlined. And do you remember when you had a computer at home or in college, and then you had to get one of those little adapters, and then you plug in one of the little, like, strips to the adapter, and you have, like, 15 cords plugged into this thing? That's Joe Biden's EV economy. You can't charge all of these things that you're charging and not expect the grid to blow up. We're reindustrializing the country after China. All of these AI and chip manufacturing plants and everything we're doing with these data centers takes up a lot of electricity. And what are we going to use to power the grid, Jessica? Not Kevin Sorbo's strength and masculinity.
Do it, Jessica.
It's going to be fossil fuel. So he hasn't figured out how to balance EVs and a growing industrial economy. Wow.
Yes, but there are some very industrious companies who are figuring out that if they can set up shop next to some nuclear power plants, they're actually far better off. But we're taking our power plants, our nuclear offline. It's one of the worst decisions environmentally that this country has made.
Well, Biden has backtracked on that a bit, and it's definitely something that has aggravated lefty progressives, that he's more drill, baby, drill, and more open to fossil fuels and nuclear energy than he had perhaps said on the campaign trail. But I think that two things can be true. One, we're moving too fast in terms of trying to push people into the EV world. And when you have the CEOs of every major car company, from people who produce cheap cars to the most expensive cars on the market, saying, we hope to get here, but you can't push us to do this at your rate. You have to pay attention to that. And then you also have to acknowledge that our grids are from the 60s and 70s and need to be updated.
Which is very expensive and takes a lot of time.
Sure, but it doesn't mean that it's not a worthwhile project. When you look at some of the outages that we've had, Ted Cruz can't go to Cancun every year.
Where does Gavin Newsom go? I guess he goes to the French Laundry, Judge.
Yeah,
because
no,
they are having the biggest looming crisis, energy crisis, is coming from California.
California, no question. Look, as the demand for electricity grows, the U.S. continues to deny that there is a problem with the grid. It continues to refuse to protect the grid. The grid has been vulnerable for a long time before this push for electric vehicles. It's vulnerable to a cyber attack. It's vulnerable to an electromagnetic pulse. It's vulnerable to a national disaster, which happens every 150 years, and we're we're about due right now. And in truth, you know, the grid is like the border, you know. They got a policy and they don't care about the consequences. You know, damn the consequences, the ramifications, the repercussions, we don't care. Our grid is like a balkanized third world country. We have all these local grids that are connected to the national grid. Nobody takes responsibility for the grids, and California is part of the disaster. And, you know, when you think about it, China and Russia are the best allies that these greeniacs have, because they are, you know, you got to move toward this electrical stuff. And the Inflation Reduction Act, even though, as Jesse was talking about, you know, we've got to have fossil fuels. There's got to be a midway to the point where we get to where everything is working off of the electric grid. The truth is, under the Inflation Reduction Act, the tax credits that the electric companies get is like 50% greater than the fossil fuel companies get. So he can be out there saying, oh, I'm really drill, baby, drill, but that's not happening, because the only people who get the tax benefits are the electric companies.
Yeah, and we're not building any more refineries. We're also not building enough charging stations.
That is so true,
Only
Kennedy.
7 new charging stations in this administration's tenure, Greg. It's an outrage.
It is an outrage. And personally, I'd like to thank you for helping me with my green agenda.
You're welcome.
I had a little bit of a booger on my nose.
Oh.
And she was able, during the break, to clear it off my nose. You put the us in mucus. Anyway. This, again, is when you put an agenda before tech and people's needs, you're going to hurt everyone. A lot of people saw this coming, but if you spoke out, you were called a climate denier. That shut up a lot of experts. Meanwhile, there were other experts who played along, and they got government grants and the media spotlight. Electric cars are an option, and they will get better. Musk is designing some great ones, but it's not a replacement. It won't be a replacement for a long time. And I coined this phrase a while ago called charge anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I already have charge anxiety with my phone, with my headphones, my laptop, the neck massager I ordered from Fredericks from Hollywood. I'm always looking for plugs. I'm always looking for plugs and sockets and adapters. And I just don't need that on a road trip. I don't need to be in the car thinking that I got to find someplace and I know that they're not there. And also, lastly, I just question the entire premise of measuring the temperature of the planet. We just assume when they make these calculations and these predictions that they are accurate. Like, do you ever stop and just sit down and think about measuring the temperature of Earth? Like, all of these measuring stations, humans have to look at these instruments, then they have to test the accuracy, and humans are fallible. Thinking about that is absurd. None of this stuff is accurate. We've been lied to.
Well, you know who else has been lied to?
Who?
The American people. They think that I am Jessica Tarlov. I am Jessica Tarlov. I love Donald Trump, and I can't stand Joe Biden. Ahead, speaking of President Biden, his student debt bailout is going to cost you a lot more. Tuition just hit $90 grand. For only 1 year of schooling. We'll tell you where. That's next.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.